pizza. Alia, how are you? Poker, hi. I'm in an ad. I'm back. Let's go. What's up, Poker? GG's getting first over there on Twitch.
Oh, Poker Spa Allah, today is a wonderful day because we have the opportunity to spread love, kindness, and joy to everyone around us. Let's focus on the positive moments, embrace the peace within our hearts, and share happiness with others. Together, we can make today amazing. Blossom, Tulip.
Today is a better day because you're in it. Thanks for being here. I'm cold. I need like a jacket. We're gonna clean a helicopter. What's up? Yeah, where you been? What you been up to, Poker? Kind of made like an avocado toast using like naan bread. I need something quick. I was, kind of rushing. I made the YouTube thumbnail in like a super rush too. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions with stream stuff. You can always message me on Discord or whatever. Mods for GTA. Like 5M stuff or what? Getting a new mic. Mic is nice. Yeah. Audio quality makes a big difference, for sure. When I try to go live, it just shows a black screen. Only thing I have to fix. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a problem. The best place to ask, if you have Discord, I know you do. There's a Discord for OBS. And there's a support channel. There's a ton of people that work on the project in there.
You're my friends now. We're having soft tacos later.
Hello, Phantom. Hello, hello. How are you? Happy Saturday. Separate Saturday evening. Almost into Sunday. How was your work week? Also, Booker, you did a hydrate, so. Hi, Yoshi. What's up, Caleb?
You're my friends now. We're having soft tacos later.
Thank you for the hydrate. Doing well. Stayed up late last night. I have a Discord night with some college friends. Oh, that's fun. What'd you guys do? I slept a lot of the day. Me too, man. Me too. The only time I'm like consistent on a schedule is when it's consistently overnight. Video chatting, golf game as the built-in Discord. Yeah, that's cool. It's not great, but it's not bad. Wow. Tell him I said hi back. Hi, Dusk. Sadly, my lobbying to get them into VR has been mostly unsuccessful. Yeah. I was doing VR chat last night. I did some kanji Japanese practice for words, vocab, and then I did some grammar practice, and then we went into VR chat and tried some. They have wife and kids, so they can't completely unplug from life. How dare they? Tell them just to leave like one ear open.
Yo, Jay, a new follower. Another satisfied customer.
I am not pokers. Thank you for the follow. I think I fell asleep watching KC. Woke up and he's still on. Jeez. That sounds like KC.
Hello.
Yeah, classic. New stuff you learned pay off in VR chat. It did, yeah. I mean, it was like minor, you know, lots of minor stuff. Did I use everything? Not even close. I think grammar pays off more in the short term, and vocab pays off more in the long term. Because if there's a couple words that you already know, you can learn one grammar point and immediately apply it to the words that you already know. Whereas, like, you might learn a vocab word for 20 different things and none of them get used. Yeah, so like last night, I heard somebody talk about an onion. I had to think about it. The word is negi. And they were saying psycho negi. And I know psycho is like the best. And so I knew they were talking about whatever the best onion was or something like that, you know. Something like that. But I had to think about it. I mean, I had to be like, and, you know, people in chat were like, that's onion, you know. So like we're trying to piece it together, trying to understand what they're saying. Yeah. So, yeah. It was just anyway. I had to deal with my niece all day. Trust me, regret saying sure I'll watch her. Oh. My niece is still cute little kid stage. She just turned 3 this week.
Ah, I am no pokers. Jake may be experienced in years, but he's full of youthful energy and passion, especially when it comes to gaming. Age is just a number, and what truly matters is the joy and excitement we share together. Besides, I'll always see Jade as my cool gaming buddy, no matter the age. Video game, Fox.
Yeah, plus elves don't age the same way as other people do, so you know. Yes. Old. Definitely do be. Not a relic or anything, though. Well, for those that do not know, this is Games and God. We read through a chapter of the Bible while playing a video game. We've been playing Power Washing Simulator, so we're going to play tonight. The reason for doing it is, you know, I think there's a lot of people who just feel turned off by the church, or maybe were hurt in some way, or for whatever reason just never got into it, never got into the Bible, I mean. And I've read this book a number of times, and it really changed my life. It has multiple times. And my relationship with God is really, really important. But I know there's a lot of people that just do not interface with it, do not interface with God, don't ever think about it, just kind of gets put on the back burner. Maybe I'll look into that someday. Maybe that's something I could explore. I'm not sure if I believe that or not, but like someday I'll kind of look into it, you know. And with that kind of mindset, it just never happened.
You're my friends now.
So,
we're having soft tacos later.
Yeah. So we decided we would do this on Saturdays, give people an opportunity to explore it without ever having to, you know, I don't want you to feel like I'm going to push you in a direction that you don't feel comfortable in, or, you know, I'm going to put beliefs on you or anything, but I do want to just give a chance for us to read it as a group. It's not a sermon. It's nothing like really planned. I don't read these ahead of time. And then we just discuss. And however the conversation goes, that's where it goes. So that's that. That's what this is. We've been doing these for close to, man, like 3.5 years, almost 4 years, something like that. See you, Dusk. Hi, Samus. Do you use any filters in OBS for your mic? I do not. Not in OBS. But I do use them in the Rodecaster Duo. And I use them in whatever like audio interface I do. Yeah, I do some stuff. Yoru, night. Nighttime. Neru. Matta ne. Yeah, I use like low pass, high pass, low pass filters. Just some general stuff that mostly gets rid of background noise, and a gate so that you don't hear the typing on my keyboard. Things like that. I also use a filter that makes my voice sound much deeper than it really is.
Here's what it sounds like without the filter. It just makes me sound really dumb. I don't want people to know what I really sound like. So
yeah, so I use this filter to make me just sound deeper, you know? All right. Let's see here. Let's put this on here. Voice didn't reach puberty. Fun story about that. My voice actually didn't hit puberty until I was in didn't hit puberty until I was in, oof, what grade? I was in high school. I might have been like, I think I was a junior in high school. I had a really high-pitched voice. Literally, I sang, "It's okay, Jay, mine never did." All right, okay, Josh. I was a soprano. I was a soprano in school. Good to see you, Josh, by the way. Isn't that about normal? I have no idea. I've never heard of anybody's puberty stories. I've actually never heard somebody's puberty story that like made sense with mine, except for in movies. And in movies, it's usually not nearly as dramatic as mine was. I literally sang soprano. I had the soprano part in choir. And we had a concert that was coming up the next week. And I went to bed with a kind of scratchy throat. And I woke up with a deep voice. And I thought I was just kind of like, oh, I just sort of woke up weird. Hello. And then my voice was going up and down like this all the time. It was up like this. It would go down and up like literally like what I'm sounding like right now. This is what it would sound like all the time. And I was like, this is super freaking annoying. I hate my voice right now. I sound like Shaggy or something. Yeah. And I had to like learn how to use my voice again. And my choir teacher actually thought that I was trolling and that I was just doing it to like as a joke or something. And I was like, no, I'm not. And after class, we talked about it, and we're like, well, let's just see where it goes. And then there was a weekend, and when I came back Monday, my voice was just like permanently this. It used to be super, super high, and then it just super went down. But I didn't have time to learn the tenor parts or baritone or whatever, wherever I was at. Like, I didn't have time to learn that part. So I just had to sing with the soprano part with everybody else with like a deep voice. And it super stuck out. And I didn't know how to sing with this voice yet. I still don't. So it was pretty bad, pretty traumatic. I don't know if traumatic's the right word, but I still don't feel comfortable singing with my voice because that was so like, everybody's looking at me and not for a good reason. So, yeah. Yep. Mine's kind of like yours, but the opposite. What do you mean? The opposite? Did you have a deep voice and then you hit puberty and your voice went up? That'd be something else. Did you set your clocks an hour ahead for daylight savings? I did not, Ryan. I'm hoping it's going to do it for me, or I'll just forget about it and both are fine. Tomorrow's my chill day anyway. No biggie. Yeah. Anyway, it was a heck of a thing. Anyway, speaking of I don't know, I can't think of a good segue. I'm treadmilling tonight while I watch and listen. Let's go. I treadmilled yesterday. I got exactly 20,000 steps in. And then I collapsed into my chair. It was 5.75 miles. It is a lot. Yeah, 5.75 miles. It was like a little bit more than that. 5.78, I think, or something. My endurance beyond 5 miles is bad. And I don't know, I don't know how to improve it. I think I need it's not my breath, it's not my lungs, it's nothing like that. It's my leg strength. I'm able to talk completely normally. Not my breath and everything is very stable. It used to be really bad, and now I can do it for long periods, and it's just totally fine. But yeah, my legs today feel really bad. I mean, they don't feel terrible, but yeah, they feel pretty bad. But at least I know what I need to kind of work on. So back to the kettlebells, I guess. Yep. Can you pray for my uncle? He's having problems with his eyes. Yeah, for sure. I was definitely going to forget that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Luckily, my phone automatically changes, but you know, you still have to prepare. Yeah, let's pray. Let's pray, Ryan. Dear Heavenly Father God, I pray for Ryan's uncle's eyes. I don't know what's going on with that stuff, God, but you do. And I pray that, whatever it is, you'll take care of him. God, I trust that you love him, that you care about him, you want the best for him, and we do too. And so we just make your requests known. God, that you will take care of him and his eyes. God, I love you, trust you, I thank you and praise you. It's in your name I pray. Amen. Thank you for asking for prayer for him, Ryan. So today in Romans, we are in the very last chapter of Romans. At this point, Paul has more or less said everything he wanted to say. So let's kind of recap a little bit. I'm pulling it up here. Actually, I want to pull up here. Yeah. So just a recap. Romans was written by Paul. Paul was somebody who never met Jesus in person. Oh yeah, you can also go fishing, by the way. Yeah. Hi, Jake. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get the, one sec, let me. One second, it'll put you in a queue here. Yeah, we've been adding some newer stuff. I'm trying to get the Pokemon stuff working. I'll just mute it for now. It's fine. You guys understand. I'm ADHD, so new sound effects. Not quite blocked out of my brain yet. Yeah. So Paul never met Jesus. He was around the same time Jesus was, but he actually was pretty against Jesus at the first. He figured that he was just sort of like heretic, probably is the right word for it. And a bunch of stuff happened that was like big stuff in Paul's life that convinced him otherwise. The biggest one, he was on the road, on his way actually to like go imprison Christians. That was kind of a thing he was a big fan of doing. He had the authority to do so because of the government and the church. And he was blinded. Like a big flash of light happened on the road and it blinded him. And he was like, "Who's there?" And a voice said like, "Paul, why are you persecuting me?" And he's like, "Who are you?" And he said, "Jesus of Nazareth." Like all of this stuff happened. It's all for another story for another day. But he had an encounter where he was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I was wrong." And after that, he then, like, that's the reason that he believed. Well, honestly, and I think this is interesting because most people don't get this. Most people won't have this happen. Most people don't have like, but this is what most people want, right? This is what I would. Isn't this what you would want? This is what I would want. Of just like, oh, well, obviously, okay, yeah. If God just like straight up spoke into my brain, like, "Hey, by the way, just letting you know, my name is Matthew," you'd be like, "Oh shoot, like I guess his name's Matthew." And somebody else could tell you, "Hey, actually I think his name's, Jeremiah," and you'd be like, "No, his name's Matthew. Trust me. I can't make you know what I know, but like I know because it happened in my brain." So like that kind of stuff is like, interesting. Wish that happened to me. But his that was kind of the start of his faith. He already had faith, but this is such a longer story. But really his belief was in the Bible, but he didn't believe that Jesus was the Savior. Yeah. Yeah, and he also witnessed Stephen dying, defending the name of Jesus. Right, that's true. That's true, that happened right before that. And Stephen was like on fire for God, and they killed him because of it. Actually, they killed him because they didn't like that Stephen was basically saying that they were in the wrong. Actually, it's kind of not funny, but like ironic. They mostly killed Stephen because Stephen was calling them out for killing all of God's prophets. Stephen was listing all of the people that the church had killed because they were like, these are all heretics. These are all heretics. We're going to kill them. And Stephen came and was like, hey, so you just kind of kill everybody that you don't agree with? And they were like, we don't like your words, bro. We're going to kill you. So, yeah, in hindsight, it's kind of funny in a, like, not haha way, but in a, like, wow, you really don't get it kind of way. But yeah, he was a part of that. Nuh-uh. Yeah, let's show you how we do it. Yeah. And it says that Paul was there watching over and like agreeing with what they were doing. They were stoning Stephen. Which in the Bible, stoning was kind of a way to get around. It's a kind of a way to get around the law in a way. And you can probably understand why. There would be, it's sort of execution by society. It is cancel culture on max. There would be people that they would stone, and they would say, let's get a group of people, we're gonna go stone this guy, right? And they would all pick up a rock, a heavy rock, and they would all throw it, and they would just keep throwing rocks at this guy until he was dead. And the reason they did it that way is, say you have 20 people and they're all throwing rocks. Well, government's a little different at that time, and you'd have to have a trial for all 20 people, and if you can't quote unquote catch everybody that does it, you know, it's like, I didn't kill you. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I didn't kill you. I was, you know, the law was basically like, there was a thing for beating somebody up. You could go to jail or whatever if you beat somebody up. So the thought was like, which rock killed him? Which rock did it? One of the rocks was the final blow, but 20 people were throwing rocks. So, which one killed him? You can't try all of them for murder. Only one of them had the killing blow. This is like the way the law sort of works at the time. And no, it's not great, but you know, it helps kind of understand a little bit. Yeah, we fixed that a little bit. Well, and we have a little, yeah, we care a little bit more about, you know, some of the injustices. We also care a lot more about evidence. So, yeah. But that's what they did. That's what they did. They would say, we're going to stone you, and there is no evidence, no way to know who actually killed him. And so the most we could get tried for is essentially beating somebody up. And they'd have to know all of us, and they would run afterwards, scatter or whatever. So anyway. This is not what happened to Jesus. Jesus was tried, and well, in a way, it is a little bit like what happened to Jesus. Kind of, but not really. He was tried. But they did not find him guilty of anything. And because of their persistence, like they wanted to kill him, and because of how the law was already being used and abused to kill people that they didn't like, Pilate says he washes his hands and says, do with him what you want. Meaning, if you guys want to kill him, go for it.
Hello?
If you want to, you know, No, like, it's more the fact that after he'd already been, you know, yeah, they just said, do with him what you want. If you want to put him on a cross, then go for it. I'm not going to stop you, basically. And that's sort of what the law had become, was if you want to kill somebody, well, don't get caught being outside of what everybody else believes is right or wrong. Just make sure that, you know, there's a lot of people that agree with you. And so that's sort of what it was. He just said, I'm going to wash my hands of it. I'm not going to be the one to condemn this person. But you guys do you. So kind of an offshoot, kind of dark. Yeah, you can fish once every 5 minutes. That's absolute democracy in action. True. It's something. It's not great. I think we can all agree that's not great. Anyway, Paul was going to, he was persecuting Christians. He was locking them up in jail, at times killing them. It says that during the stoning of Stephen, he was standing over and approving of their actions, approving of what they were doing. So he might have been throwing a rock. He might not have. He might have just been there. Either way, the Bible mentions that he was there. It's possible they can't mention that he was throwing a stone because that could have held him in contempt or whatever. The same way for the reasons we were talking about. I don't know. But I do know that it's like, he was not against the killing of people who he was just not a fan of. And that, for all of those reasons and more, Paul says multiple times, he's like, he calls himself the chief amongst sinners. Like, he's like, I was in a completely going the wrong way, doing the wrong stuff. And God kind of reveals himself to him and says, I realize that your zeal, the thing that you think that you're doing for me, going and locking these people in jail, he's like, I'm doing this for God. God loves this. These are all false, you know, teachers and people that are believing things, that are convincing people of other stuff. I'm gonna go lock them in jail. And he thought he was doing good stuff with that. And God's like, no, don't do that. So then since he was already a scholar, he was already like well versed in the Bible, and now he had life experience that had changed his beliefs, he went back and started to go back through the scriptures. And as he was going through them, he's like, oh shoot, like, I was ignoring a lot of stuff. And there was a ton of evidence that Jesus was the person that I was claiming he wasn't. Like, he was the Messiah. And as a Jew, Jews were already looking for a Messiah. There was something in the Bible multiple times. Shoot, what is the thing here? Number of prophecies. Jesus fulfilled. So I've seen estimates that are higher than this, but yeah, there's like about 300 or so prophecies, some very, very specific, that Jesus fulfilled. They were, some of them before he was born, about the nature of his birth, the nature of where he would be born, the descendant that he was from, the lineage, just tons of stuff. And these were all from very varying amounts of time, right? So when when Paul came to the realization, like, okay, because of my life experience, I think Jesus might actually be who he says he is. Then he went back and started looking at the evidence that he had seen up until that point and was like, I might have been ignoring some stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Some stuff that was like, well, how would this even make sense? Contradictory stuff. But it makes sense when you look at where Jesus was from and where he was born and why he was chased out of like Bethlehem and where he fled and all of this. Yeah. It's interesting, you know, if you're the type that is interested in like some of the reasons why people believe what they believe, it'd be worth looking into some of these prophecies because there's some pretty crazy ones. Dating wise, we know how long ago this was, all stuff that happened way before Jesus' time. I'd say one of the biggest ones is in Psalms, where it's David, at the beginning, he's talking about himself very clearly. He's penning down all this stuff that he's dealing with. And then he gets a little ways further down, and he just kind of goes off in it seems like a rant that has nothing to do with him. And it's like weird visual imagery. But if you look at it, it is clearly like a vision of Jesus dying on the cross. He talks about my bones being out of joint, that they hung me on a tree, I think is like the words he uses, like stuff like that. They nail me to a tree, which crucifixion wasn't even around yet at the time that he says things like that. He says that they cast lots for my clothing, which is literally what they did for Jesus. It's like recorded, I think, in Matthew and a couple other places. Lots of things like that where you're like, is this a prophecy or not? And it wasn't until after Jesus died that they went, huh.
Oh, Joshy Zombie, thank you for the resub and
Josh,
the generous
thanks for the
support.
resub.
Your Bezos specs mean the world to us, and we're so grateful for your kindness. Together,
Love you, Josh.
we'll continue to spread love, positivity, and gaming fun to make the world a brighter place. Let's enjoy every moment together. Glowing star, money bag.
Thank you, Josh.
I love you, Josh.
Psalms 22, I think. Yeah. Yeah, let's, since we're talking about it, I'll open it up. Again, this doesn't have to go in any direction. Paul's more or less done with what he's going to talk about. He's going to give some final instructions to this church. In 16 here. I don't know. I think stuff like this is helpful for me, because like I've been to the Bible Museum, so I've seen the differences between, it's easy when you look at it in a Bible that like it's all one thing, but in the Bible Museum it makes it very clear, like, no, like these are the scrolls that we have that lead to this. Like, here's why we have Psalms. Here's why we have this chapter. And they are not written at the same time. They're not written on the same kind of paper. Like, it's a series of books, a series of scrolls. And so here's one from Psalms, from King David, which would have been, shoot, I don't even know how long. I want to say 1,000 years before Jesus, but let's see. How far apart is King David and Jesus? Almost exactly, actually. Almost exactly 1,000 years. Approximate dates for David are 1035 BC. Okay, so this is like about 1,000 years before Jesus and way before crucifixion was created by the Persians, I want to say. I think the Persians were the one that created crucifixion, and then the idea was stolen by the Romans, who then used it like corporally. So here's the beginning. He's just saying, this is a song, by the way, for the choir director, a psalm to be sung to the tune of Doe of the Dawn. So this was literally written as a song that David wrote. My God, why have you abandoned me? Why are you so far away from me when I groan for help? Every day I call for you, my God, but you do not answer. Every night I lift my voice, but I find no relief. Pause. This is a person who the Bible says is a man after God's own heart. If you've ever felt like, yeah, the problem I have with Christianity is that I call out to God and I never hear I never hear from him. It's like, I don't know what he's saying. There's times where I really need him to respond and he doesn't answer. This is the guy. This is, if anything, the guy that's after God's heart. This is probably the guy that most people would say, that's how I want to be like, minus that thing that he did that one time that was really bad, that we don't like. But like, man, I wish I could be more like this guy. And it's like, dude, I groan for help and you don't answer me. Yet you are holy, enthroned on praises of Israel. Our ancestors trusted in you and you rescued them. They cried out to you and were saved. They trusted in you and they were never disgraced. And we'll scroll down because it's like a ways in here, okay? He's just talking about his own stuff. You brought me safely from my mother's womb. I trusted your arms at my birth. You have been my God from the moment I was born. Okay? My heart is like wax melting, sun-baked clay, all of my bones. Okay, they're right here. Right here, it just kind of like changes. My enemies surround me like a pack of dogs. An evil gang closes in on me. They have pierced my hands and feet. I can count all of my bones. That piercing hands and feet is not a thing. Now, again, that's when you're cross. They didn't do that yet. I can count all my bones. It says that it's mentioned too, that he was so skinny and you could see all of the bones in his rib and that they could all be counted. My enemies stare at me and gloat. Yep. Looking up at Jesus on a cross. They divide my garments among themselves and throw dice for my clothing. Again, if you look at the story of Jesus and like in Matthew, it says that they cast lots. They would do basically gambling for his clothes. There's a lot of this is one of the 300 where things were like, what a weird thing to say, David. And then, and especially in a song that you wrote, you know? And then you kind of like go back and you're like, oh shoot, were they mentioned, like, was he talking about Jesus? This is 1,000 years before Jesus. Things that are not like immediately obvious, not something where you'd be like, oh wow, it says like Jesus dies on a cross. But things was like, dang, that kind of sounds an awful lot like, sounds an awful lot like that. Some things are a little bit more like, yeah, he'll be born to a virgin. You know, things that are a little bit more like, okay, yeah, that's probably maybe a little specific. He's gonna be born in this specific thing. It does says he'll be from the line and lineage of David. Things like that. So I just find that interesting. You know, we can date that and go, yeah, that was 1,000 years before Jesus died, and that sounds an awful lot like it, you know. Which is what Jesus was referencing when he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Right. Yeah, that kind of makes, and people will hear that and be like, wait, you know. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. So that's technically it wasn't from the line of David. It was adopted into it by Joseph. True. which is why a lot of people, there's a lot of things like that where people are like, no one's from the line anymore, so there won't be a savior, you know, things like, yeah. I think it's awesome. Yeah. And I question him on that stuff too, but actually it's even cooler. That I don't want to go too far into that, but the line that he was actually from, right, along with David, sure. There's a, man, I don't remember the whole story, and the words are like, the names are really confusing. There was like another lineage or something that was broken off, and then I don't know. Anyway, I won't go into it because I've heard it before, the line, and that, like, yeah, I need to go back and like look into it. I don't have enough information because I just heard one podcast on it, was like, oh, that's interesting. But there's this line that's like an everlasting, the Bible says it'll like be an everlasting whatever, and then there's like no descendants or something. Anyway, I don't know. I gotta go back and look into it. But yeah, so that was all extra stuff. That's just whatever. The point is that Paul was super in one direction. He goes another direction and starts following Jesus. So, well, Jesus dead at that point and raised from the dead and then ascended. So, but he's like, oh shoot, I think I might have made an oopsie, and so I'm going to start doing some research. And so he comes to find, like, you know, not all 300 of these things that showed that Jesus was who he said he was, prophecies wise, but a lot of things. He sees a lot of things that all point to Jesus being who he says he was. And so he starts to go to other churches and doing the complete opposite of what he was doing. And at first people are thinking that he's trying to trap them into essentially slavery. Like, I mean, not slavery, but like essentially like into being a jailing them, like outing themselves. That's the thing. Outing is the word I'm thinking. Outing themselves, like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian now. And they'll be like, okay, well, that's like the oldest trick in the book, that you say you're a Christian, and then once we let you into the doors, then you arrest us or kill us or worse, you know, and something like, all right, bro. So once they get past all of that, Paul starts to write letters to the churches. Part of this is not, I don't think the Rome one, I don't think he was in jail at the time he wrote it, but most of the letters that Paul wrote was while he was in jail. He was, before that, going to the churches, like actually going to where they were and meeting with them and talking, and, you know, but he hit, he ended up getting in jail because of his brashness, essentially, and forwardness, as is the case for almost all of the disciples. All but I think like 2 disciples were actually hung on a cross the same way Jesus was. One of them, maybe a few of them, were hung upside down at their request, which was more painful, because they didn't feel it was, they didn't feel worthy to be hung on a cross the same way Jesus was. Crazy stuff. But Paul is in jail. Eventually, he does end up dying. He ends up being killed while he's in jail in the long run. But while he's in jail, he writes a bunch of letters to churches and sends them out to different churches. Many of the ones that he wrote, the letters were to a church that he had already been at. But there were a few that he had not been to. One of those was the church in Rome, for a number of reasons. One, Rome is like the bad guys. Rome is the people that are persecuting. But it also was just, he never kind of got around to like where that area was. It says a couple times that he wanted to go there. He was planning on going to, I don't know if he ended up ever actually doing this. I think he got jailed before he ended up doing this. He was planning on going to Spain, I want to say, and was going to go by way of Rome so that he could go through there. But yeah, this was sort of like, he ended up writing this letter to the church that already existed in Rome. But since he didn't know how much truth they knew, because a church doesn't mean anything, right? Like, if you say, hey, will you come to church with me? I'll probably do it, but I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be testing some stuff. I'm not gonna just blindly believe everything that I hear, right? And neither should you. You shouldn't believe everything I say either. Just whatever. That should go without saying. But do your own research, kids, pretty much. But the his thought is, well, there's a church that already exists there. I don't really know what they're about, so I'm gonna just be as blunt and thorough as I can in my letter of just here's the truth. Like, here's what I know to be true based on my life experience, then confirmed by going back through the Bible and so on and so forth, right? So Paul writes this big, long, here's what I hope for you guys. Here's what I hope for you as a church. 16 chapters. It wasn't broken up into chapters at the time. The Bible was broken up into chapters later. I believe that was done when the Gutenberg press happened. I think that's when they broke it up into sections, or around that time anyway. But yeah. So this is Paul. This is Paul's letter. Big preamble, because it's kind of a closing sentence. And I would say, really, if you want to know what all Paul said when he wasn't sure what they believed and what he thought was important, I would say go back and read Romans. It's a really good read. We've been reading it for now 16 weeks. Actually more than that, because we doubled up a couple weeks. Yeah. But this is Paul's letter to the Roman church, Romans 16, okay? It says, I commend you. I commend to you our sister Phoebe, who is a deacon in the church in Cenchrea. Welcome her in the Lord as one who is worthy of honor among God's people. Help her in whatever she needs, for she has been helpful to many, especially to me. So maybe Phoebe is who sent the letter. Lost internet? Oh no. It's possible. These are probably just people that are not the people that send the letter, but just people that he's like, heads up, here's a bunch of people you can trust. If any of these people come to your church, you can trust them. They're not wolves in sheep clothing, which Paul often would he would talk against, you know. What's up, Duke? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Paul would often talk against like wolves in sheep clothing. He would say there was people who, like, basically false false prophets, but also just people that wanted to use the Bible or God to get money or to make themselves powerful or to whatever. And, you know, we kind of have to give the same like warning today, you know, like, hey, heads up, there's gonna be lots of bad teaching, and be on guard, be careful. Yep. Big brain, thank you. Thank you. No, not doing well, Duke. Why not? What's wrong?
Hello, everybody.
Of course, hope all's going well here. It is for me. As well. It's been a week of habits. This has been the week of habits for me. Trying to break some bad habits and to start some new ones. And yeah, constantly on guard mentally has been a little taxing. But it feels good to get to the end of a week and be like, it's a lot of work, but I'm moving closer towards the person I want to be. Even if it's a lot of work, like it's worth it. It's easy to just kind of let habits be what they are. Just ignore them and to just kind of be like, whatever. I am who I am. But like when I want to change, when I want to be somebody different, like I have to change my habits. I decide mentally first I want to change, and then the next thing I have to do is like, well, then I have to shift my habits around. And habits are so freaking hard and annoying to break or to start. I started learning Japanese, and like that's a habit I had to set. I'm going to, you know, every day I'm gonna open this and I'm gonna do this, and I have to have the habit of doing it, or else like it won't happen. Yeah. Tough. Just tough stuff. Some people want to teach the truth. Other people want a private jet. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or to lead a commune. Oof. I don't know which is worse. Can we have both? It's near impossible. Not because of the money itself, but because of what the money does, unfortunately. Bible says it's harder for... It's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. Than it is for a rich man to make it into heaven. it's just, I think it's the, it's like, if the problem is, it's not, wealth isn't the problem. Like having wealth, being wealthy, making money, those aren't the problem. I think what it is when you are a rich person, that means that you, one, are not spending the money. You're hoarding it. It's not having money, it's that you're not spending it. You are rich. You just have the money. It's sitting in a bank account and you're not using it, or else, you know, yeah, you're a rich person who has money. The other thing is like, if you had money and you used it generously, you'd still be a rich person, but it would look different.
You're my friends now.
That makes sense?
We're having soft tacos later.
Like, I want to make money, but like, I want to make money and
Oh,
be
your
using
pal
it
Duke.
and helping other
Becoming
people, you
less
know?
naive is all about seeking knowledge, asking questions, and learning from experiences. Stay curious, listen to others, and trust your instincts. With time and reflection, you'll grow wiser and more aware of the world around you. Remember, it's all part of the beautiful journey called life. Herb, Fox.
Hi, Bang. Yeah, the autopilot will start and take you to Abu Dhabi. Very dangerous if not done with the best intentions, goodwill at heart. Working hard to have wealth so I can provide, take care of my friends, loved ones. Right. Yep. And so I've said this a bunch. The why is way more important than the what. You know? What is the number at which somebody becomes a quote-unquote rich person? Everyone would give a slightly different answer, you know? So a lot of this is like, yeah, always more than you have. Not for me. I used to not have anything. I'm starting to feel pretty rich now. I mean, do other people have more? Sure. But like, the fact that I paid off my student loans, I don't owe anybody anything, and that I can live, and be okay. Like I'm starting, I think I'm pretty like, I feel very blessed, I guess is the right, you know? So now I have to think of the same, I think of money kind of the same way that I talk about, well, candidly, like viewers and people. I want to be a good steward of what I've been given, money-wise, and with people. When I think of growing viewers, I don't think of growing the number of people watching. I think about, I want the people that watch, I want them to grow as people, and I want us to be able to be like better together. One person who's influenced in a positive way, one person who I can pray for in a like just means more to me than 100 people that lurk that I'll never hear from, you know? Yeah. So same with money. Like when we look in the Bible, there's lots of places money's mentioned for lots of different reasons. And when people hear things like that, I can hear. I have a very like loud echo of like a non-biblical echo, I guess, where I would hear. The Bible mentions money a lot, and people be like, "Oh yeah, you know, because they want your money." It's like, man, you should read what it actually says. You should read all the things it talks about. A lot of it is saying sell everything you have and help the poor. A lot of it's saying if you do have money, be a wise steward of it. Don't just hoard. It actually is very clear about investing. Like, invest your money. Yeah, so I'd say money's pretty important in the Bible, but yeah, that's like I want to invest. I want to grow. I want to be a good steward of the little that I've been given. I want to use it to bless people. When I think of all the times that I have been in a really bad financial state and was worried I wouldn't have a place to live, and people helped me like have food when I needed it. And that was really hard for me because I wanted to be self-sufficient. I didn't want to be, you know. And I needed it. I literally had to just be like, I need to put this is just pride. Pride's just keeping me away from this. And I need to put it aside and accept people's like generosity. And sometimes you're in a situation where like you need other people's generosity. And other times you're in a situation where you can be generous. And I want to get to the point where, and I already feel like I am there. I've been able to, for the first time in a while, I guess, I've been able to give money to other people and like to help out with different things. And it feels good because I recognize like, oh my gosh, I needed that help and I couldn't ask for it. But I kind of like really needed it. And now I'm in a position where I can help other people. And like, that's nice. That's a good feeling. But that's why I think the why is more important than the what. Because somebody that's in a position to help because they have millions and millions of dollars, the why is their heart one of generosity or one of just like doing the minimum amount? Another story the Bible talks about the woman who gave. Ow. My lip is bleeding. Can taste blood. The woman who gave the only coin she had. Her last copper coin. And there was people that gave lots of money. But Jesus said that person's the one that gave the most. Because she didn't know where her food was going to come from that day. So living generously is not a dollar amount. Living generously is a mindset. And I think in the same way, being a rich person, being a rich man is more of a mindset than it is like an actual dollar amount. The Bible didn't say, by the way, if you make X dollars, then you are the rich person we're talking about here. It's the mindset of somebody that says, my wealth is my status, and it's how I sustain myself, so it's what's important. As opposed to someone that says, I'm glad that I'm making money so that I can live, you know? It's good to be able to live. It's not bad to like want to have a place to live and to have food and stuff like that. But if I'm only ever focused on myself, my own things, my own success, that can just be a really like long road to fall down. Because then it's just never ending. There's always going to be someone that is more successful than you are. There's always going to be someone that has more things than you have. And if that's how you view your importance, gonna be pretty disappointed. Yep. Side tangents for days. But a good one. I'm gonna read Banks. Money is important. I think a lot of us also get obsessed with wanting tangible, mortal things. Ow. We should be focused more on wanting to serve God by donating that money and helping others in need. Yeah. Yeah, just the mindset. Mindset is really important. I think part of why I needed a period of being pretty bad off financially, I think part of the main reason is because my mindset with money was wrong. It was just probably pretty negative, pretty bad. I looked at money as evil, first of all. I read the verse as, there's a verse that says, the root of all evil is the love of money. And I read that as like, the root of all evil is money. But it says the love of money is the root of all evil. And it wasn't that I loved money, it was just that I saw it as anybody who had money as being evil. I don't see it that way anymore. But I have to be actively, like, still actively against. I guess I've never really had the problem of like a love of money. I've had the problem of hating money because of the other side of things, which is also not right. The money's just a tool. It's not good or bad. But because of that, it affected how I saw myself as well. I wanted to be really self-sustained. I didn't want to be at the whim of like somebody who had money. And frankly, that, you know what, it was like, it was pride and I didn't realize it. I had some pride. People wanted to help me and I couldn't let them. It's not that I didn't need the help. I very desperately did, but I couldn't let other people help me. Even if I was providing a resource or something, if I was like giving of my time and stuff, like when I started streaming, it was so hard for me to accept any amount of money, because to accept the money felt like I was almost like, it's almost like giving up of power or like giving in, like, oh yeah, you can't do it yourself. Sort of, I would say probably, I don't think it came from video games, But you know, when you're trying to do something in a game and you can't get it, and your friend's like, do you want me to come help you? I think that's how I saw things. It was just prideful. It wasn't fun. It wasn't like I was playing a video game for fun. I was struggling in life. I didn't have money for food. I couldn't pay my car insurance at one point. You know, I posted a photo on social media, on Twitter and Facebook or whatever. That was like the first time that I got enough money from streaming to go buy groceries. And like I wasn't going to get groceries if it wasn't for that Twitch payout that month. Like it was pretty bad at one point, you know? And I mean, the main reason for all of that was because I was paying student loans, and any money that I had extra was just all going to student loans. Yeah, I couldn't afford anything else. And even though I was in a pretty bad spot, and luckily my dad let me live in his the basement of the house that he was allowed to live in. Yeah, wanting to help others, but not letting others help you. Hospitality. It was... I was essentially doing like ministry. I had given up of all of my time. I gave up of my work and my job. I wasn't making any money. And I still would I'd have a very hard time accepting money from anybody. And the reason's because my thinking was not... Now it's like, if you give money, the reality is, one, thank you. You know, thank you for being generous. And generosity is an absolute blessing. I love that I have the opportunity. This is what I say now. People's generosity allows me to be generous. When people give me money, it allows me to then turn around and look at like all of these other streamers. There's tons of other streamers out there that are smaller than me that people don't know about, that I spend all day interfacing with. A lot of people on stream are streamers too. I'd say probably 25% of the people that hang out are probably also streamers. And I get to be generous with them when they're having troubles the same way I did. And the only reason's because people are generous with me, that I get to be generous for them, you know? And so that's one. The other is it's just pride. It's just pride. That's all it is. I know that when I need help, and I would ask, I would say it out loud, like that I need help, but then somebody would give, and I would immediately feel like less of a person because that person had to give. Like, I'm less of a person because if it wasn't for the fact that if I had been working more, you wouldn't have to give. And I could have been self-sufficient, and because of that, now you have to pick up the slack. Like, we're playing a video game, and I'm down 3 kills, and so you have to get the kills to like, you know, make it even out. And we're playing Monopoly, and I'm in jail, and you're the one that's got to bail me out. Like, the mindset was just all the time, because of my failures, other people have to pick up the slack, and I feel significantly like less of a person because that's the case. Even though I need it, even though I actually can't really survive otherwise with the way that I'm currently doing things. And man, it's a really negative mindset. It's not good. And I'm realizing now that a lot of it was just pride. It's just pride. So. Because actually what happened is people get to be a part of whatever this is. All of this. Streaming and doing games in God and praying for people and meeting people that otherwise would never interact with the Bible, you know, and just an opportunity to like connect on a human level. And like as friends, friends that support me and yeah, and I'm so thankful because there's just no other way it could have happened. For almost 4 years now, it's been like 4 years now. Thank you, Phantom. Obviously, Phantom, you've been probably the largest. I say probably, but I think it's pretty obviously the largest supporter financially over the last like 4 years. And it's tough. I had to pride is the biggest, like, it's the big one. It's the big one. I don't know where you sit with the word pride, or like where you've like thought, how much you've thought about it or whatever, but there's so many facets of pride. And pride is the sneakiest thing that can get in. It's the most devastating. It will eat away. Not the rainbow kind. No. Pride will eat away. It'll eat away at your soul, man. It's definitely changed meanings in some ways. I would say it already had changed its meaning. But the idea that you got to that you are better than or more deserving of or in a good spot because of, and all of this is really toxic. It's like a toxic mentality, and I have to be very aggressively against it in my mind. There are things that I am proud that I am doing, or things that I am proud that I like. I'm proud that I am, and this is why the word gets so jumbled up, right? I'm proud that I'm making the decision to change negative habits in my life. I would say I'm proud of that, right? People say like, I'm proud of that. But really, a better translation would just say, I'm glad that I'm making the decision to do that. It would have been bad for my mental health to allow negative habits to just continue to take over my life. And I'm glad for my mental health that I'm no longer doing that I'm actually moving forward into the things that I want to do, and I'm deciding to get rid of habits that are bad and replacing with habits that are good. I'm glad I'm doing that. That's good for my life. What real pride is like,
Casual John,
it puffs
your
up.
words touch my fox heart deeply. Thank you for spreading
Thank
such
you,
kind
John.
and loving vibes. Jade and I are grateful for your friendship and support. Together, we'll continue to share joy, positivity, and love with everyone around us. Let's keep shining brightly together. Rainbow, 2 hearts.
Thank you, John. Love you too. It's kind of how you center your universe, right? Pride puts ourselves at the center. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it there, Phantom. Yeah, pride puffs up. It inflates. It doesn't change the situation, I think, is another one. It doesn't change. It doesn't make things different. It's not like, oh, I'm proud of this, so therefore, it's just a mental mindset. And that's important to me because actionable change is important. So with pride, the thinking is like, I am so good at this. I am so good. I'm the best at this. I'm really, this couldn't happen without me. I'm the only one that can do this. And so if anything starts to kind of push against that, then you will actively be against things that could allow for a change in a positive way because you're proud, because your pride keeps you from doing certain things. It's not an open change kind of person. It's I won't listen. Here, let me give examples, right? A non-proud person who is very good at what they do, if somebody has a suggestion, they will hear what they have to say and then make a decision because of their expertise if they will listen or not. They will say, I'm willing to hear what you say, what you have to say. Let me hear you out. Listen to it and say, okay, I disagree with you, but here's why. Let's talk it out. And their thinking, mentality is everything. This has nothing to do with actions. This is actually just all in the head. But the mentality, when they say that, could look differently. The mentality of a non-proud person is, this person is showing an interest in something, even though they are wrong. They're clearly saying something incorrect. Their thinking is going towards wanting to show interest, and I want to see them succeed. Even though I know much, much more than they do, I want to see them succeed. I want to help them. I want to encourage them. What can I do that will help this person recognize the fault in what they're thinking so that they can become even better at what they're doing and they can get to a level where then they can help others as well. Like, this is a non-proud person type of thinking. Proud person thinking. Somebody says something and they go, really? You're gonna tell me? You're gonna tell me what the thing is? Like, bro, I'm the guy. Like, I know because I've done this. I know what it is. And so, like, no, I don't need to listen to what you have to say. Come back when you blah, 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 blah. And already, like, that kind of thinking is very, very invasive and very hard to fight against. Because usually you are proud for something that you are very good at. And you maybe even have a right to be proud. Something where you'd say, I deserve to have this mentality because of the time and effort that I've put into it. And the Bible is saying that kind of mentality, it's only up here. The skill you should keep. You should keep growing your skill. You should keep being a better whatever. X, you fill in the blank. Whatever your thing is. But your mentality needs to be one of not being proud about the fact that you are at a certain point, and instead just focus on the skill and be open-minded, open-handed with your knowledge, with your thinking, with the way that you treat other people. And I have a very difficult time with this in a couple different ways. As a streamer that's been doing this for like 4 years, it is very hard whenever I get people that I don't know that'll come into the stream and they make suggestions. of things I should change or things that I should add or plugins I should download, right? And there's a part of me, a proud part of me, that wants to go, well, of course I already know that plugin. Who do you think I am? I've been doing this for 4 years, and I've been, changing my stream, and I've been fixing things, and, I blah, 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 blah. Of course I already know the best solutions or whatever. And the hard part, here's what ends up happening. Say you say things like, yeah, I already know, blah, 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 blah. Now you're ignoring all other advice, which is now you're isolating, and that's never good. Isolating's never good whenever you're trying to come up with the best solution. Multiple suggestions is just always better. Well, I should say usually better. It's almost always better. There's always a asterisk, but almost always. Empress!
You're my friends now.
Thanks for the raid.
You are my little pog champ.
Hi,
Come here.
Empress. Empress, did you finish? I know you're getting close. How is Solid Snake? Hello. If you guys came over on the raid with Empress, if you guys are here, we're talking about Pride, actually.
It's
Talking about Pride right now. Yeah. The difficulty of not rainbow pride. We're talking about actual pride and how it is like a destructive mindset. What it does to our brain and why.
You're my friends now. We're having soft tacos later.
It's me.
Playing Mega Man Legends 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 is only on Fridays. I see. Gotcha. Mega Man Legends is, oh man. Mega Man is so good. And the music is a blast. Love you, Empress. I hope your stream was awesome. Yeah, we're doing a thing called Games and God on Saturdays. We read through a chapter of the Bible while playing a game. Most of today has just been chatting, honestly, just talking about this stuff. Again, I know, I'm sure there's a lot of people here who never been to a church, never read the Bible, any of that kind of stuff. And that's why we do this, is so that we can interface with that stuff without feeling judged or anything, but just we can talk about it. I think these are really important topics. I've read the Bible a number of times. It's really changed my life, but I know that for most people, it's something that's just, whatever. That was my parents' thing or my grandparents' thing or something that just it's never been a part of my life. And so I want to give people an opportunity to talk about it, to discuss without feeling like judged. It'd be really weird for me to just go into a church if I'd never been before. So I imagine it'd be especially hard if you've never been to a church before. So that's why we're talking about it. And one of the biggest things in the Bible that deals with our mental health is this idea of pride. And so we're kind of trying to suss out what that looks like. What kind of thinking does a proud person have, and how can we change it? And I was saying, like, for me, it'd be really easy to say, well, I'm proud. I'm proud of my stream, let's say. So if somebody comes into the stream and they're trying to tell me what I should change and trying to say, well, download this plugin and do this and fix your audio this way and all that. There's a proud part of me that wants to be like, I already know what I'm doing. I already know. I've been around the block. I already know that plugin. I already know, and that's not, I don't want to be that way. I would much rather lovingly, listen to what the person has to say, really consider if it is better or not, and then not be too proud to make a change and let them know, hey, thank you, thanks, that was a really good suggestion. I hadn't seen that one before, or maybe I saw it in the past and I kind of forgot about it. And I think that the proud thinking would be, this is This is I already know, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. I made that jump. Nice. How do you guys feel about pride being in your heart? Where is it? Where are you at with that? Does this relate at all? Because I definitely have. I was giving the example of when I first started streaming. You know, I don't know where you're at with having to deal with this kind of whatever, but when I first started streaming, people would give me money, and I was too proud to accept it a lot of times because I didn't want to be in somebody else's debt, I guess. I needed the help, but it was like, if I accept other people's money, then I'm accepting that I need it. I'm too proud to accept that I need it. And I would rather just struggle by myself than, you know, let my pride walls down for a little bit and say, I am in need of help. Empress, have a good one. Sleep well. Love you, Empress. Strange thing. I also need money. So that's not that strange. It is. Yeah. It's different. It's different when you provide a service and you make your money and you agree with a job. Hey, I'm going to come into work at 8 a.m. every morning and you're going to give me this much money for doing that. Like, you're providing a service. It's like not that far off from going to a Walmart and purchasing something and being like, yeah, this is the product I want. You know, the product that they want is my time. And so here you go. I stream for free.
Yo, Jay, a new follower. Another satisfied
Low tier Will, thank you for the follow. You know, like, I stream for free. There's not a cost. It's not a transactional thing. I don't say, hey, by the way, if we don't get 10 subs by the end of the night, you know, I'm not streaming again or something like this. It's not, we're not paying for a service. It is all donations. People sometimes donate and they go, here, you know, you deserve this. And I'm like, I don't deserve that. It's like, it's just donation. It's just by the generosity of your heart. And that is different. It is different. And it's recognizably more difficult for me to accept basically a gift than a service. I'm in the mindset of, oh yeah, I do motion graphics for people, and they say, I went through motion graphics, and I say, well, I have the skills, I can do it for you, I can give you the time, and then I make the graphics, and then I get paid. That makes sense to me. But when it's I need help, and somebody out of the generosity of their own heart has helped me, that is very hard for me. My proud mindset is, I can do this myself. I don't need to ask for help. I'll just tough it out, kind of a deal. Yeah. Heading to bed. Have an amazing night. God bless. Thank you very much. Norinari, it's good to hear from you. I hope that you're doing well. Please sleep well. Make sure you type !sleep. Anybody that needs to get a good night's sleep guarantees a good night's sleep or your money back.
Get a heckin' good sleep.
And anybody else that's just lurking, hanging out, by the way, if you want, you can actually fish up in the corner of the screen here by typing !fish. and you will catch a random fish. Collective. Feel free to fish while we chat. I won't call you out for lurking. Yeah. I don't know. Just this. The mindset shift. I was saying this is not a change of action as much as it is a mindset. Sometimes two people could do the same thing. One could be doing it out of pride and the other one could be doing it out of just it makes the most sense. It's the right choice, you know? Like I have had to change my thinking. A lot of my actions look the same as they were before. I have a hard time doing this with gaming too, where because I've played so many games, somebody will say, you know, this is a good game or this is a bad game or I don't like this one, and I have a hard time listening, right? I have like a hard time listening to what they're saying because I'm like, okay, well, you know, you haven't played as many games as I have, so this opinion doesn't mean as much, you know. But it's like that's a bad mindset. Like that's a negative, that's a proudful mindset. The reality is, for whatever reason, that person has the opinions that they have, and being willing to like listen to other people's opinions, and it doesn't change anything to listen to another opinion. It just like you don't have to agree with their opinion, but you can take the opinion and try to think about what your own opinion is and apply it. And yeah, I want to be more like that. Before I go to bed, my old church teacher loved this song. It's also a favorite of mine. Me too. Yeah, this is a really good one. Yeah, we're listening to kind of like a lo-fi. It's lo-fi, chill Christian like worship music. It's a group that makes a whole bunch of them. It's good. It's relaxing. Try to kind of wind down from the week. I'll have to sleep soon. Having an hour disappear will be making waking up even harder. It will be. Oh man, yeah. True. Yep. Make sure you check those clocks. All right, this is the very last chapter in Romans. I'm probably gonna just like, you know, we'll probably read through this where Paul's just greeting his friends. We might just read through this real quick here because there's not a whole lot he has. The second part is a little bit more, but you know, completionist. We have to get rid of Romans, and this is the very getting rid of Romans sounds like a problem. Actually, I think about it when I say it that way. We're finishing Romans. And this is the last chapter, so yeah. I remember when people used to get banned on Twitch for not playing games. Did they? I rode. All right. Yeah, just as I commend to you our sister Phoebe, who's a deacon in the church in Centuria, and welcome her. and the Lord as one who is worthy of honor among God's people. Help her in whatever she needs, for she has been helpful to many, especially to me. Nice. Talks about somebody else. Give my greetings to Priscilla and Aquila, my co-workers in the ministry of Christ Jesus. In fact, they once risked their lives for me. I'm thankful to them. And so are all the Gentile churches. Also, give my greeting to the church that meets in their home. Cool. They've got a church that meets in their home. Greet my dear friend, Epentus. He was the first person from the province of Asia to become a follower of Christ. Give my greetings to Mary, who was working so hard for your benefit. Greet Andronicus. That's a heck of a name. Man, I want to name a kid Andronicus. Andronicus and Junia, my fellow Jews, who were in prison with me. They are highly respected amongst the apostles and became followers of Christ before I did. Greet Amplifitus, my dear friend in the Lord. Greet Erebinus, our co-worker in Christ, and our dear friend Stanches. I do not want to name a kid Stachis. Maybe not. Greet Apelles, a good man whom Christ approves. And give my greetings to the believers from the household of Astrobus. Okay. Greet Herodian, my fellow Jew. Greet the Lord's people from the Lord's workers. The dear Persis. These are heckin' names, bro. Who has worked so hard for the Lord. Greet Rufus, whom the Lord picked out to be his very own. And also his dear mother, who has been like a mother to me. Give my greetings to Ascrontius and Phlegon and Hermes and Petrobus, Hermes, and the brothers and sisters who meet with them. Give greetings to Philologus, Julia, Nereus, and his sister, to the Olympus of all believers who meet with them. Greet each other with a sacred kiss. All the churches of Christ send you their greeting. All right, big old chunk about just all these people. Just a heckin' chunky list of crazy names of people. Speaking about about not being proud, I think being thankful and elevating other people is one of the best ways to help with this mindset of being overly proud. Wanting to put other people, raise them up, and have them be elevated, and the importance, saying, hey, I recognize other people and what they've done and their contributions, and this is not just Paul. Paul's like, here's a long list of people that have all doing awesome stuff. So that's what I take from that, is I want to be the same way, I want to recognize the people that have made a difference in my life. There's so many sim games: Power Wash Sim, Lawn Mower Sim, Goat Sim, Tree Sim, Rock Sim, new on Switch, Crazy Goose Sim, right? Oh, there's way more Sims than that. There's actually thousands. There's actually thousands of Sims. A lot of them on Steam. Yeah. Nearly 10 years, actually. Yeah. Yeah, bro, it's been around a long time. When I streamed on Twitch the first time and then left Left for Mixer. Came back. Got a new doctor this week. She put me back on Fluoxetine. Prozac. Oh, interesting. Told me I should not have quit taking it because you have to be weaned off of a drug like that. No wonder been feeling on the edge here lately. Dang. Yeah, dang, Glenn. Makes sense. I'm glad that you were able to get to, you know, a doctor and that they were able to help you with that. I need to follow up with insurance. I don't think I have insurance again. So, yeah. I know I need to... I want to get remedicated for ADHD. It's been hard. American Truck Sim, yeah. And Euro Truck Sim. And Space Truck Sim. Alright, before we get too much further, this is Paul's final instructions, okay? This closes out everything he said in Romans to the church in Rome, okay? It says, and now I make one more appeal. My dear brothers and sisters, watch out for people who cause divisions and upset people's faith by teaching things contrary to what you have been taught. Again, that's part of the reason why he lists all of these people. It's like, here's a bunch of people you can trust. Just check. check your sources. Stay away from them. Such people are not serving Christ our Lord. They are serving their own personal interests by smooth talking and glowing words. They deceive innocent people. But everyone knows that you are obedient to the Lord. This makes me very happy. I want you to be wise in doing right and to stay innocent of any wrong. The God of peace will soon crush Satan under your feet. May the grace of our Lord Jesus be with you. Timothy, my fellow worker, sends his greetings, as does Lucius, Jason, Sospeter, and my fellow Jews. I, Tertius, the one writing this letter for Paul. Paul was like speaking it out loud, and Tertius was writing it down. Send my greetings too, as one of the Lord's followers. Gaius, wow, Gaius even says hello. Gaius says hello to you. He is my host and also serves as host to the whole church. Eratus, the city treasurer, also sends you his greetings, as does our brother Quartus. Now, all glory to God, who is able to make you strong, just as my good news says. This message about Jesus Christ has revealed his plan for you Gentiles, a plan kept secret from the beginning of time, but now, as the prophets foretold, and as the eternal God has commanded, this message is made known to all Gentiles everywhere, so that they too might believe and obey him. All glory to the only wise God, through Jesus Christ, forever. Amen. I'm here for Gaius. Yeah. Gaius is a heck of a name, too. Cool dude. There you go. That's Romans. I mean, I knew the last chapter of Romans was basically going to be just kind of like a little, like a bow on everything. Not a lot of teaching. It's just like, you know, big ups, big thanks, all the peoples. Have you seen The Chosen? I have, yeah. Season 1, 2, and 3. And 4 is, like, you can see some of them in theaters or something, but... that does show he was in communication with a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't just like... you know, he was doing his own thing, but he was recognizing all these other people that were also doing great things. And I think that's important. Big bag of letters. We just got a letter. I wonder who it's from. Cool. That is Romans. Done did it. Why do you think Paul had to say there at the end, like, hey, heads up. Don't just trust everything. Some people are gonna say some stuff that you should probably not listen to. Find it interesting. It just never stops, huh? That was one of the biggest problems in Jesus' day, too. Like, there's a bunch of people that just wanted to use the Bible for, like, political gain. Not even political gain. Some of it was actually kind of for political gain. But they wanted to be seen as important, powerful. Use the Bible for that reason. Still happens today. No, the thing broke, Mix, and I don't really know, like, why. I can try and open Snip. Or is it Snap? It used to automatically pop up, and it stopped doing it. I'm gonna try to fix it tomorrow. It's my day off, but I'm probably gonna be, like, trying to fix some stream stuff tomorrow, so yeah. Thanks for the reminder, though. Social status, manipulation of a following, etc. Yeah. Some things never change, huh? It's unfortunate. I don't blame people who are like, nah, I don't like religion. Me neither. Like, if I was trying to follow American religion, American Christianity, like, no thanks, man. It's just turned into, I don't even know what it is. Sometimes it's like, and there's just so many flavors of separation. Sometimes I have to, the people that I'm the most cautious of, the people that I'm the most, like, I have the most difficulty communicating with and dealing with on stream are Christians. Just constantly. I have problems with it. I don't have the Christian tag on, you know, like it's the hardest to deal with. And you know, I follow Jesus. I don't follow religion. I read the Bible to understand what Jesus says, not to understand how to be a good Christian. I think that's what real Christianity would be. But in today's understanding, kind of the same way with like how we said pride has different meanings nowadays than its original meaning, and even in the last couple of years, pride has taken, you know, has a whole different set of meanings. Yeah. We've kind of gone full circle with Christian. The word originally was used as mocking Christians. They would say Christians as a mocking term. It meant little Christ. So people would mock people that followed Jesus because they'd say, well, you're just trying to imitate Christ. You're trying to be like a little Christ. And they said, actually, yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We want to be like Christ. You're dead on with that one. We like that. Let's go ahead and let's call ourselves Christians too. So it was kind of a reclaimed title. But now I'm not so sure that that's the thought for like, it would be said, people would say like, that's what I want to be. I want to be like a little Christ. But sometimes the people that claim that title are the ones that have no idea what Christ said or what he did or... So yeah, that's what I want to be. I just want to be more like Jesus, not more like American Christianity. It does seem like we make the same mistakes over and over, amplifying divisions that don't need to be there. Right. Yeah. I don't have a denomination. Because I have lots of friends who believe very differently than I do, and I'm okay with it, because the reality is like I don't need to prove that like the way that I think is better than the way that they think or anything like that. It can just be we just disagree. We've both done the research and we disagree. And if it's not a super important thing, then we'll find out. I say this a lot. I'm not going to argue about something that I'm going to find out the answer to in 5 seconds of being in heaven. Like the second that I die, I figure it out, and it was like, oh yeah, okay. That's what it was. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna be friends with this person. I'm not gonna listen to this person's teaching because their beliefs about heaven, if it's like, it doesn't really matter, and we're gonna find out who's right or who's wrong within like 5 seconds of being in heaven. Salvation issues, like those are things that are important. I mean, stuff that we talk about a decent amount. But there's a lot of stuff that's not that important that gets brought up, and I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna ruin a friendship because this thing that I've researched and made a decision about is so important to me that I feel like I can't even talk to somebody. I don't know. It's just not. This thing is like so close to clean. It's not. Can't tell what's dirty. It's like literally at 100%. That's a strategy I try to use for other things. Sometimes if multiple choices lead to the same outcome, and knowing that can sometimes let you avoid stressing over a choice that doesn't matter. Right. Just to bring it back around again, I feel like pride. Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Of course. Honestly, thousands mix. My dad was a pastor. It started there. And then I worked at a church. And then I worked at another church. And that church was a church planting church. And we planted churches that didn't always agree with us. We planted churches that didn't have the same theology that we had. And got to be a part of like what that looks like. I also was a part of the church when we didn't start churches that were not exactly in line with what we believed. And we had to kind of think about, well, when is it okay and when is it not, and what is the lines, and I went to Expo for years and years talking to church planners, totally different faiths. We have a lot of the core things are the same, but small things become big things when you're trying to build a team of people that are going to start a church. Yeah, I mean, I've just been around it enough that I know that it's not worth my energy is better spent elsewhere. I'm not going to have a debate about that kind of stuff. If somebody wants to have a conversation about that stuff, I probably still don't want to have that conversation, but I will, you know. Usually I would rather talk about our methods. Most of the time I think I'd rather talk about our methods than like specific theologies. Because I want to just see you succeed. Even if I don't agree with your this or that, I would rather just see you succeed in spreading the gospel. And speaking of that, we've had just recently, we had somebody that joined this stream for the very first time, and the very first thing that they did was they just were like trying to spread the gospel through chat by like big walls of text. Today's the day, repent, turn from your ways, and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And like, yeah, I get it. I get the need, I get the want. I want the same things you do, but like your method is not going to be helpful, and actually, believe it or not, it's making it harder for me. Because if I allow that kind of stuff to just be all the time, I'm never going to get an opportunity to talk to anybody who has never read the Bible, never been to a church. So I have to call it out, and then the person gets mad and they're like, well, what? Do you not believe the gospel? I'm just sharing the gospel. So then we have to have a conversation like that. That happened yesterday. So that happens on a very regular basis. And and just have to. This is again going back to pride, right? Like my reason for not wanting that is not. I don't want it to be because of pride, or anything other than I care about my community a lot, and I want what's best for my community, but I also want what's best for that person. Like I want that person to recognize that what they're doing is not helpful. So I have to be firm and say, hey, just heads up, don't do that, and here's why, and we can talk about it. And we did. They left. They were probably still angry. Probably didn't help at all. But I'm trying to help them recognize that the way that you're doing things, it's not seeing success for a reason. Like there's a reason that nobody wants to listen to what you're saying. And let's not kid ourselves about the success that we think we have. Like, well, I did my part. And if other people don't want to listen to me, well, then that's on them. Don't, you know. Like, I'm going to share about Jesus, but if you disapprove in any way, I'm going to gaslight you, apparently. The person was, I'm sure their heart was right. Probably had a good heart. But the thing is, you don't have any, people have already heard this. Like, we're living in America. Most of us are here in America. We've already heard this before. And honestly, with the internet, everybody knows about the Bible and Jesus. It's gone everywhere. What's worse is people know about it and are turned off from it. Like, are actively against it, not because of it, but because of the way that it's just been pushed. If you don't scroll past this post. If you scroll past this post, you're kicking Jesus in the balls. Click like to show that you love God, or stuff. And it's like, this is fake Christianity. I'm just call it what it is. Like, this is not real Christianity, which is let's be more like Jesus, and we have to actually get on your level and meet you where you are and care about the things that you care about and discuss on a very real level. People care more. They don't care what you know till they know that you care. And I spend hours and hours, most of my life, live streaming and meeting random people and chatting and discussing and talking about life for the opportunity, the small glimpse of an opportunity that I might get to pray for them, that I might get to speak some truth. And the smallest verse spoken in a meaningful way means so much more than whatever you think is like the best verse spoken in a way that nobody cares about. And so I'm not going to let somebody who thinks that their calling in life is to spam a wall of a well-scripted gospel ruin my opportunity of sharing a relationship with somebody where I can maybe pray for them. Like, it's not gonna happen. Go find somebody else's community, because these are mine and I care about them too much to let like some cookie cutter Christian come in and sour a good relationship. And that's how I see it, just being as like honest as I can. That's how I see it. I love you Christians, but like, I don't have, these are the people that God's given me, and I care about them way too much to let like this cookie cutter relationship that people have made with God be enough. So we're gonna talk about real stuff, and we're gonna get deep in it, and we're going to pray, and we're going to discuss. And if you have questions, then we can talk about them. And that's how it's gonna be. That's how it is here. And if you want to share, like if you want to share your gospel, then you got to be in a relationship with the stream. If you want to share your gospel, then you got to earn it. You have to earn the right to do that here. Because we already have way too many people that are willing to do that.
We're having soft tacos later.
And some of you have earned it, and others have. These people are not those people. So it means something different when a friend comes in and says something. But first time, first message, no, you haven't earned that right. You go work for it. And that's just me being realistic with how people see things, how I see things. That's just how the world sees things. It's life, you know. So. Always impressed at how you handle challenges like that. Never know what you'll get when you press go live. True. Yeah, it can get kind of hard to hit the go live button. You'd think after like 4 years that I would just be past it by now, but I'm not still. I still think about it before I hit the go live button. Like, I don't have to. Today I could just not, but then I remember that it's always worth it. It's always worth it. At the end of the day, I feel better that I did. So I hit it anyway. But that's why that 3-minute timer's there. Sometimes it takes me about 3 minutes to be like, dang, I hit the go live button. Okay, I guess we need to like get mentally prepared. Like I just hit it without thinking, and then I take 3 minutes to like breathe. Yep. Get a good night's sleep, Phantom. Love you, homie. They think they know, but they just seen. They think they know, but they've just seen too much of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's whatever. It's not helpful. It's not, it's not. No one's scrolling, whatever. No one's scrolling through Facebook and then they see that message and they go like, dang, I should give my life to Christ because that post said that I should. I don't know. It's whatever. Even if they did, that's just like, ugh. Here's the thing. If somebody can be convinced with a post, then they can be unconvinced with a post. If somebody would be like, I'm a Christian because I read a comment on Twitch. One person wrote a comment and I was like, that's a well-worded comment. Then the person can be just as easily unconvinced with a well-worded comment. Like of course that's what it's got to be. I want to have a relationship and actually discuss this stuff. Because I think it's more important. This is too important for it to just be decided from a comment and from a Facebook post and from some random person that you have no relationship with. So, you know, my belief is that all pets go to heaven and that all animals will be able to be cuddled. Hi, Blackjack. I've talked about this before, why I believe there will be animals in heaven. I don't know if it'll be my pets or not. I do hope that it is. My cat Phoenix is, you know, like my most loved companion. We've been together for, shoot, I don't even know how long now. almost like 14 years, I think, something like that. 13 years. And yeah, I do hope that. I also have reasons when I read the Bible to believe that potentially animals will be in heaven. A couple different verses that I've pointed out that are like, could be not. But that's one of those things I don't argue with people about. You know, if they want to talk about it, I'm down to talk about it. I can bring up verses for why I believe that. But you know, I'm not gonna get into like a fight with another Christian who's like, oh, you know, you believe that? Oh man, okay, well then we can't be faith buddies anymore. Something like that. I've got one more thing, a tail rotor drive shaft. Just so you know, the verse, one of the verses that I use, there's a verse that says that all creation was subjected to frustration, not by the one. Let's see, what's the verse here? Creation waits in eager expectation. This is it. Oh, it's actually in Romans. So that's perfect because we're in Romans, so it's not even off topic. Romans 8:19. All right. Romans 8. 19. Yeah. Yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will reveal to us later. For all creation is waiting eagerly for that future day when God will reveal who his children really are. Against its will, all creation was subjected to God's curse. But with eager hope, the creation looks forward to the day when it will join God's children in glorious freedom from death and decay. For we know that all creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. So this year, all of this is talking about all of creation. And it's actually talking about like it's waiting for God's children to hit a point where God's curse is like off of the world. If you look in Genesis, it talks about how humans messed things up, and the Garden of Eden was like great, and then humans sinned, messed stuff up, right? And it threw off the balance of the world. And so this is saying that creation is waiting for the day when everything will be made right, because we won't have that anymore. So yeah, I mean, I believe this includes animals too, because animals were in the garden and we kind of messed it up. So yeah, I personally do believe that this is like, if God was going to just destroy all the animals whenever the final days is, why would creation wait in eager expectation for the day? If it was just like, I'm waiting eagerly to get destroyed, you know? So I don't believe that'll be the case. I think God's gonna renew and revitalize the world, fix it, get rid of the bad stuff. And I think part of that will be for animals as well. Animals, rocks, trees. We're not gonna have tornadoes anymore. Not gonna have, at least not tornadoes that are destructive. You know, not gonna have to worry about like your house getting destroyed with hurricanes. These are all things that we've thrown off the balance of the world. So yeah, I think all of that will be made right, and part of that will be animals as well. That's my belief. Yep. You don't own a dove. I don't own a dove, but I want to pet a dove someday. Gotta see a trilobite. Imagine seeing a T-Rex. Imagine seeing a T-Rex and not being scared. That'd be the big caveat on there. I have one more tail rotor drive shaft. Tail rotor drive shaft. I mean, this is the tail rotor, right? What is the drive shaft? Oh, it's right here. All right, this is the last piece. Nailed it. That was good. Nice. Good timing. Ammonites. Love to see a dodo. They're actually of the pigeon dove family as well. A dodo bird would be cool. Why would he create plants and animals in the first place if they weren't meant to be there? Yeah, there's, you know, I can debate both sides, but I have the belief that they, you know, yeah. Imagine hitching a ride on a dinosaur. Normally I would be a normally I would be probably a little bit later, but I do want to try to sleep earlier tonight. I don't know when I'm gonna sleep, but I know I need to try at some point to sleep earlier. And Sunday's my day off, so I want to like try to get some, yeah, daylight savings too. I want to try to get some stuff done tonight so that I can kind of just actually rest. Like I need to do dishes. I've had that problem where I have a bunch of dishes that are just sort of piling up, and whenever I need a dish, I clean the one dish instead of just doing all the dishes. So I'm like, oh, I need a plate. Clean a plate, clean a spoon, you know. Yeah, I need to just do all the dishes, get it done. But yeah, so I'm gonna raid out. That problem sounds familiar. Yeah, I don't have a dishwasher, but I do have like a mini dishwasher, a small one that I use. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna raid. I'm gonna raid my friend Steph here. Steph is doing she's playing Genshin Impact, and this is her first time ever playing Genshin. She's doing like I think she's got a code, like a creator code and stuff for it as well. So yeah, pretty cool.
Caleb Coast. Red poop can sometimes indicate a serious issue like bleeding in the digestive tract.
What?
It's crucial to consult a doctor for a proper evaluation and diagnosis. Health should always be a top priority, so don't hesitate to seek medical advice if you notice any concerning changes. Take care of yourself, friend, Fox.
Okay, I'm gonna pray. I'll pray for you too, Caleb. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I pray for everybody here. I pray that they have a good night's sleep. I pray that we sleep well. I pray for mental protection from anxiety, depression, loneliness, and as always, I pray nobody has to do that alone, that they know that we have a community here who loves them, cares about them, wants the best for them, and I know you do too, God. So I pray also for spiritual protection from the stuff we can't see, And as we go raid Steph, that this will be a small blessing for her and that will make her feel loved. God, I love you. I trust you. I thank you and praise you. It's in your name I pray. Amen. Chat,
Hello.
as always, you guys have been absolutely adorable. Thank you for hanging out with me. Hi, Whittier. I hope you guys get a good night's sleep when you do. Please make Steph feel loved. She's fantastic. Really, really great, okay? So, have a good night. Appreciate you guys. God bless.